But even before I go there, I want to talk about trauma mind control. So in the video that I did, Kenya divorce America or die with her, I talked about trauma mind control, and I talked about this fake crisis that they usually present before people to make them to instill fear in the masses. And once people are fearful, then they are easily controlled. Because of security purposes, we're going to have to infringe on your freedoms of movement, freedoms of this and that, so that we can keep everybody peaceful and we can have more security in the land. And so what I was hoping to do with that video was I was hoping that Kenyans would listen to that video and be able to extract from it parallels where they will be able to see similarities between the trauma mind control that has been happening in America and what usually happens here. Okay. And so what I was hoping was that Kenyans would be able to make that comparison and realize that it's not just America that is given these false narratives and is driven into monitoring and control, that thing has been happening here. So let me just be specific. What I wanted people to understand is that the 1998 bombing that happened in Kenya was not a random terrorist attack. America did that to us. In cahoots with our government, they told us that it was the Al-Shabaab Somali Muslims and you should be very cautious of them. They were testing on us what they would then do to America. And they were waiting to see if it would work, the effect it would have on us, if we would comply. And when they were successful here, it was time for the main event in America in 2001. So they first tried it here. And then they gave them the same narrative. They said that it was the Arab Muslims and that they should be very cautious of them. Then again in 2013, it was time for more reinforcement of the beast systems agenda. And we had the 2013 Westgate Mall attack, Westgate under siege, which was yet another organized trauma mind control. With full knowledge and consent of the then government, they conducted it and gave us the same narrative, Al-Shabaab Somali Muslims. Notice how they were all killed in the back and forth of it. So we were left to only rely on what the media told us sparked the event. So before the trauma mind control happens, before the fake crisis happens, the person will do a live stream, the person will write a manifesto, the person will do a confession saying, this is why I am going to do what I am going to do, right? And then that's what will be given to us. And then we'll be told, oh, here's all the evidence that you need of what happened during this event. And so that's exactly what happened with the 2013 Westgate Mall attack. And what happened afterward is that more monitoring came upon us as a people. From then on, people began leaving all their details when entering or leaving a building. Scanning and having our bags checked for any dangerous weapons became a normal thing. In simple terms, from then, Kenya became a police state. A law was proposed which said the police cannot be questioned, the state cannot be questioned, the president cannot be questioned. It sought control over digital communication. It pursued the right to prosecute those on digital media. Then in 2019, it was time for fresh reinforcement of trauma and to remind us why it's so important that we stay monitored and policed. They did the Dusit D2 bombing. As always, they blamed Somali Muslim terrorists. Here's the account of what happened. From 15th to 16th January of 2019, a coordinated attack against civilians occurred at the Dusit D2 complex in Westlands District, Nairobi, Kenya. The attack began around 14:30 hours East African time, shortly after a suicide bomber blew himself, of course, up near the center of the complex at a restaurant. Four attackers associated with the Harakat al-Shabaab al-Mujahideen carried out a mass shooting for over 22 hours, which left 21 civilians, 1 Kenyan soldier, and all 5 militants dead. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack, of course, in a statement published through the Al-Shabaab-affiliated Shahada News Agency shortly after the attack, with its external operations branch, Saleh and Naban Battalion, claiming responsibility. You see how these narratives are usually the same everywhere. Okay, Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta said that all the 5 militants that carried out the attack were all eliminated by the security forces following a 19-hour operation led by Kenyan forces. Same narrative, right? So what I wanted to say is Moi knew about the 1998 bombing. Uhuru was a very effective beast system president. In fact, if it were not for Yah's mercy, Kenya would currently be in its 10th year of digital ID and monitoring through the Huduma card that Uhuru wanted to introduce to the people. So I don't understand this whole Uhuru was a good president, Ruto is a bad president, Raila is good, Raila is bad, Moi was bad. They were all for the beast system. They were all for Satan. And that's just what I wanted people to like. My goal with this is to help people to be weaned out of Kenyan politics, and for people to understand that the level of tricks and the level of mind control that is happening right now, as a believer, you should not be engaging yourself with this type of thing. Come out of her, come out of the beast system. Stop saying, I'm for this politician, I'm for that politician, I'm for this, I'm mourning this politician's death, I'm hoping this one. Stop saying all that nonsense. No, really, it is nonsense, because all these presidents and politicians are characters in place. They are willing to kill their own to actualize what Lucifer wants of them. You see? And so there's never been a good president or a good politician or a good politician. They were all Satanists here to bring about the beast system. Each of them played their part. The one we have now is doing his part. Additionally, I wanted Kenyans to understand that the country that they idolize so much, America, is the one behind all the terrorist attacks that we have here and that have ever happened. Okay? And they plotted and provided for everything. And then they reported on CNN saying Kenya is a hotbed of terror.